Ever wonder what it's like working in trades in Canada? Well, today we are going to be interviewing a community member about his experience working in trades. Welcome to the part 2 of our six-part series in the Find a Job Hunting community from UpRow the app. My name is Callis Williams. I'm the founder of UpRow, the Immigrant app. And today we'll be diving into the life of working in trades.
UpRow is the ultimate immigrant app where newcomers can network, connect, and access essential services all in one place. So, what makes UpRow so different? UpRow is community powered. You can join a vibrant community of immigrants supporting each other. UpRow is also a one stop solution from housing to banking to legal advice and language tutoring. Everything you need is one tap away. With UpRow, you can build connections that matter. Build your network, share your experiences, and grow together. So, how do you get started? Download UpRow on Google Play or the App Store and dive into your community and explore tailored services for your journey. Why go it alone when you can thrive with a community? Download the UpRow app today and empower your future. Join us today and take the first step towards your goals.
And if you enjoyed today's episode, definitely head into the job hunting community in UpRow the app because our guest speaker today has agreed to do a very special Q&A with our tradespeople to get them one step closer to achieving their career in trades. You're welcome and enjoy. Comment down below what questions you would have for a guest speaker, and I'll see you on the inside. Also, check out our description for the link to download the UpRow app and join our job hunting community. Bye, guys. And hello.
Hi. Hi,
We're
Chloe.
live.
We're live. Hi.
Well,
How are you?
Trevor, first of all,
Yes.
thank you so much for coming and talking to us about what it's like to actually work in trades. So please introduce yourself. Tell us where you're from. What do you do? Give us a nice introduction.
Okay. It's like preparing myself for an interview all over again, eh?
Yes.
So my name is Trevor. I'm originally from Trinidad and Tobago, and I moved to Canada just a year and something ago. Fortunate for me, the job I was doing in Trinidad, I was working at Atlantic LNG, and so happened I end up was recruited for here at
Hmm.
Canada. Now, the thing is, and for my job is more in terms of operations. So it's the benefit for me was that I had all that years experience back in Trinidad. So being part of here, working with multiple different personalities, people from all over the world, to being part of one of the first ever LNG facility in Canada, and there will be more to come, right? It's historic. To be honest with you, it's historic. Right now, we're in the states of starting up, and the countries, Canada as a country is dependent on LNG Canada to produce for revenue, for economical growth, everything,
Hmm.
right? So my job turned out to be a rotational job, which is fly in, fly out. So there are multiple different ways in terms of fly in, fly out. It could have been like a subcontractor where they book your flights and everything for you, or you could be one of the fortunate ones like myself where you schedule your own flights based on your rotation. So based on your agreement with your employer, you can have vacation days or you have to work through. Fortu- Unfortunately for me right now, I don't have any time off to get until we are up and running on the facility. So the benefit of a fly in fly out job, you consecutively work like 14 days on, depending on your job rotation. This, if you're not accustomed doing this, it can be difficult. And what you look for is the continuity in terms of how you work, right? So the 14 days now, you can be more assertive in things. You'll be in meetings. You'll be able to contribute to different things and see things before it happens. The 6 or 7 days that you have off, I fly back to Alberta where I stay.
Hmm.
And it's just a few days. It's just honestly just a couple of days off just to get things done, spend some time with the family. And as soon as you know, it's back to work.
Hmm.
And depends on the roles and responsibilities yes you have. You're not obligated to log on a computer because they give you a work laptop. You're not obligated to log on to check your emails, but being as a newcomer and you want to make yourself known, you want to contribute as much as you can on and off duty as well. Because yeah, sometimes you need to respond to certain emails, and sometimes you need to give advice where it needs to be, because someone is always leaning on you to help close a gap or bridge the gap based on things. So
Mm-hmm.
that's just my take on it.
All right. So we get into a lot of different things here. So first
Yeah.
of all, when you say that you were recruited, you're saying that the company that you worked for basically said, okay, we're opening something in Canada. We want you to come across. What was that
No.
process?
All right. So how it happened? Working Atlantic LNG normal day-to-day job. I just applied to LNG Canada, and someone saw my profile and on LinkedIn, and they reached out, and so they wanted to schedule an interview and just to touch base with me. So it was an informal, and probably I hit the targets to that person, and I was on vacation, and all of a sudden I was getting calls by managers from LNG Canada to, hey, we would need you to come on board. How soon can you start? It's like
Oh,
literally, yeah. So I
that's
needed to make a
exciting.
this yeah, I needed to make a decision like rapidly. Should
Mhm.
I or should I not? And obviously back in Trinidad you need to give notice and everything. So
Of
they were
course.
more than willing to allow me to give that time and stuff, because please, I'll be honest with you, I was interviewed the day and the afternoon they called me and tell me the job is mine.
Nice. I
Yeah.
love
And
that. I love that.
yeah.
And a lot of us from Trinidad and Tobago in particular, well, now Guyana, we
Yeah.
have qualifications in oil and gas, right? And Alberta is a province that needs oil and gas workers. So it's like a good match. That's actually why I moved to Alberta. I don't know if I ever
Mhm.
told you the story, Trevor, because
Yes.
I was
I heard
thinking,
it on all your lives.
you know, make a bag, right, in oil and gas, and then probably move somewhere else. It's just so
Yeah.
happened that life took different turns. But a lot
Mhm.
of persons have their eyes on Alberta, right?
Yes.
So good for you for actually getting through and for
Oh
them to see
yeah, it
qualification.
was a journey for itself. But for anyone who's looking to like leave Trinidad, Guyana, that has 10, 15, 20 years experience in oil and gas, your qualifications matter,
Mm-hmm,
right? And you need to look at the province of choice that you choose to. Alberta is the energy giant in Canada, and
mm-hmm,
BC is coming up. So you need to look at things like power engineering or like chemical engineering diploma courses. If you could try going online and see if you could do it from Trinidad, right? And fly to Canada and get the ticket, which is to do the ABSA exams and stuff, right?
mm-hmm.
Because yes, our qualifications and experience in Trinidad is worth it. However, we need to understand we have to bridge a gap between our qualifications to Canadian qualifications, and that's what we need to do. So I did my course a few years back, and I just took the initiative to do it, and it worked out for me, right? So for
Can you tell
anyone
me
that
more about some of those qualifications? So
right,
someone working in oil and gas, they're working in engineering, and they want to now transition into Canadian
hmm
employment. What
so
sort of courses should they be looking?
right, so some of the courses I should be looking at, for instance, if you are an engineer, you went to University of West Indies and you have a chemical engineering degree. One thing you, as everyone will do, go through West to get your accreditation, to
Mm-hmm.
get the equivalence of that. However, while you're doing that, you'll want to check a couple of Canadian schools to see if they have, like, for instance, like a bridging course that you could develop the Canadian credit or equivalent to your degree. Because a degree from Trinidad doesn't mean that degree is the validity of the degree is valid in Canada, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what we have to live with. We are coming to this country. We need to make sure our qualifications match up to their standard and their qualification requirements.
Mm-hmm.
So even, for instance, for me, I have my degree, I have my master's, but it's a technician's course that made me where I am here. Do they value my degree and master's? Yes, they do. They do,
Mm-hmm.
because I did the West accreditation and I got it accredited, and it's good,
All
right?
right.
Yeah.
So I want to talk more about actually working. So it's cold here.
Yes, it is. So,
What is the
so
actual routine like? What is it more strenuous than in Trinidad? Talk about it.
it is. So we have a luxury in Trinidad. It's either rain or sun. We have that luxury. Companies here will take care of you in terms of making sure you have the proper PPE, thermals and stuff like that, jackets, gloves, whatever it is you may need to do the job. Now, so working in the environment itself is harsh, but it's more controlled in terms of how we think it might be. You're not outside for 12 hours doing something. It's not like that,
Mm-hmm.
right? So they do make sure to give you the proper attire that you need to do the work outside there. Um, there's some things that people in the Caribbean wouldn't understand. There's something called hoarding. It's basically if you're doing work in an area, the area is enclosed and there's heaters in it to keep you warm while you're doing work in that area, right? Every 20, let's see, within a 2 hour window, you're supposed to have like at least 30 to 40 minutes break, especially if you're working in the cold, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so those are some of the things that I've noticed with contractors here. They get the break periods and they stay warm. And yeah,
Right. It's not as
no, it's
extreme.
not like slavery. It's not no slavery work or anything like that.
Yeah,
No,
you're outside
you're,
and
you're
you
treated.
can't, don't come back in. The lock the door
No, no,
behind
no.
you.
It's not like that. It's not like that.
You can't
It's
come
not
back
like
in until you finish.
it's not like that. You have a
Awesome.
task. Each crew have their job or the task to do. It's not a rush to finish. That's the Canadian culture. We do it safe or we don't do it at all, right?
Right.
And if the weather is too much, the work is stopped, and they're well within their rights because as you know, with Canadians, they have unions and stuff like that, and there's basic human needs. If you're not able, you're not able.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Got
Yeah,
you. Now I want to talk about compensation. So don't go and tell me your salary. Yeah? Don't go and tell
of
me.
course, of course, of course.
But tell
So
us, is it worth it? Like compared to working in other sectors, other countries, do you think the
yeah,
compensation is worth
well,
considering the weather, considering that you're away from your family? What are your thoughts on that?
so there's always the saying is this: there's no amount of money that they could give you that could take you away from your family, especially doing the things that you like.
Mm-hmm.
Coming from Trinidad, you had that flexibility to enjoy life a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Working here and the rotation, flying in and flying out, it takes a toll on you. Mentally, it takes a toll. Emotionally, depends on your loved ones, it takes a toll.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you are compensated well. Depends on the role that you get, you are compensated well. Um, However, when you work in BC and live in Alberta, you have to pay BC taxes. So that's the next thing too. You have to worry about because your taxes is be high,
Mm-hmm.
right? The comp. So let's look at a scaffola. I'm just using as an example. A scaffola rate in BC now would be like about 60, $70 an hour. Yeah, yeah. So that's something to look at because there are different things that we could look at in terms of how, based on qualifications and stuff like that, they will pay. But they will make you an offer, and if you choose the offer, you have to understand what comes with that offer. The constant hours of work, you're always being called, and these are the kind of things you have to be mindful. But for me, I'm being compensated well, but again, we could always hope for more, right?
Good always one more, yes, of course.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Uh, moving up the ladder of success here, or someone will approach me and look to snap me off somewhere else again. And the
Mm-hmm.
thing is what job or what occupation you choose for, especially in oil and gas. If you are a control room operator or you are a field technician, you always have to choose to aspire to learn as much as you can learn in the environment that you are in. Do whatever qualifications that they have outlined for you and move up as quick as possible. Because to each their own, right? If you want to succeed, you have to put in the work and move up. And they will recognize when you work hard. Trust me, they do recognize that. They give you the acknowledgments and the accolades that goes with it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're always being targeted to go to, hey, we have this position coming up soon. I think you fit the criteria for it. They will recommend you. And everything now is all about recommendations going forward, references going up. Your
Mm-hmm.
name sets the tone in terms of what comes to your pathway, your energy and your vibration, that sets it. If you're being positive and you're being attributed towards that, you can be successful. If you have that mentality, this is it, they will just treat you the way that you want to be treated. And that's the reality of how things are.
So, in conclusion, and thank you so much for spilling
No
all of the
problem.
beans. Is there anything that you didn't get to touch on that you think that we should know?
Uh, oh yeah, the healthcare. So in Canada, we know we have our own healthcare. So the companies, they do give you private healthcare as well too, insurance cards. So it helps. So your prescriptions and stuff, if you
Covered.
need, is covered. And that's one. And two, depending on if you're a staff member, you have different perks that comes with it, right?
I love that.
Yeah.
And what advice do you have for someone who's thinking about getting into trades?
Trades, if you are in the oil and gas industry and you want to continue with it, I suggest you throw your hat in the ring, do the equivalent courses and come into it. If you're not accustomed with it, you haven't worked in the Caribbean or Trinidad in terms of trades, and you want to come to Canada and do it, the probability of getting employed, yeah, think about it, you'll be entering in terms of the apprenticeship level, the beginner's level, and you
Mhm.
have a lot of work to reach out. If you do have the experience from Trinidad or from the other Caribbean countries, they will respect your experience. And that's, yeah, with their qualifications and your experience, you will be treated a little bit different. You might move a PL level, which is higher, or depending on what position you apply for. But
Okay.
never sell yourself short. Trust me, the experience that you have, it is valued. It is valued.
So you're not starting from scratch if you're not starting from scratch.
No, not start from scratch.
And even starting from scratch is not that bad because, like,
No,
first year apprenticeship level, they get paid well.
they do. They
Yeah.
do.
So even starting from scratch is not that bad either, right?
Yeah. And there's something that people do think about is that when they get hired as on a contract for a 6 months or 1 year, that's it. After that, no, you do well, they will keep you on. You
Right.
remember when they're doing like turnaround activities and stuff, they hire big.
Hmm.
Some people prefer the work culture of working 6 months and being off for 6 months because they make a lot of money within that 6 months.
Hmm.
That's just how the culture may be for some people in Canada, right?
Interesting. Interesting. So don't turn away the short term contracts. Don't
No,
think
don't
that's.
don't turn away because it adds to your experience because that CEC experience, Canadian experience, you need that to
Hmm.
move to anywhere in any province. You need that CEC experience.
Gotcha. All
Yeah,
right. Thank you so much. And of course, you're part of the opera community.
yeah,
You're
I
currently
am.
doing French with us and French dip. You're like
Yes,
going through in and out. And when I think we met during the French program, I was talking to you and I
yeah,
said, "Oh, you know what? This is what we're talking about. Yeah, I think other people should hear what you have to say because you're someone who's actively working, right?"
yeah.
Um, yeah, thank you so much. And thank you so
That's
much for
okay.
sharing your information and persons. If you have contact with Trevor in one of the communities, feel free to ask him questions. I'm sure
Feel
when you
free.
have time, he'll be available to
I,
answer you.
I will respond. I will respond. They have my contact information and email. You could send me an email or message me. I will respond. And for anyone who's looking to come leave Trinidad to come out to Canada, I will tell you, make the step, be brave, make it, and come out of the comfort zone, and you will realize how great you are. Right?
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much, Trevor.
No problem, Khalees. Always a pleasure. Tell me, call me anytime.
All right. I really hope that you enjoyed today's session. If you did and you found great value from this, definitely head into the Upper app in the job hunting community. This and much more will be available in there from networking, connecting to other people just like you. You can use your badges to announce to the community when you have found your first job or gotten a job or upscaled in your career. This and so much more, including live Q&As, meetups, and every resource that a newcomer or old comer immigrants would need, all on one app. We'll see you on the inside. Enjoy, guys.
UpRow is the ultimate immigrant app where newcomers can network, connect, and access essential services all in one place. So, what makes UpRow so different? UpRow is community powered. You can join a vibrant community of immigrants supporting each other. UpRow is also a one-stop solution from housing to banking to legal advice and language tutoring. Everything you need is one tap away. With UpRow, you can build connections that matter. Build your network, share your experiences, and grow together. So how do you get started? Download UpRow on Google Play or the App Store and dive into your community and explore tailored services for your journey. Why go it alone when you can thrive with a community? Download the UpRow app today and empower your future. Join us today and take the first step towards your goals.